Good morning. So that is in embedded systems. That is the today's topic. Already we are seeing the topic of from up to this. So that is introduction to embedded system, structural units, selection of processor, selection of memory. Today we are going to see the DMA and memory management, basic memory management concept, because the memory management operations will become here. That is unit number 4. That is the shared memory and memory based management operation we are going to see. So in elaborate way. So for that purpose, in short way, that is we are going to see the memory management in very short or brief explanations. Okay. So these are all the portions today we are planned to cover this session, right? So next, that is the DMA. So that is the DMA, which means we are going to refer, that is the direct memory access. Direct memory access, DMA. So that is the direct memory access. D denotes that is the direct. Direct. This is memory, and A denotes as the access, direct memory access. So here, that is the detailee. This is the word D, M, and A. Okay. So before touching this word, the IO device need to transfer the data from the system to memory address. So what is the basic operation we are going to see? This is the board. See, I think you are well known the basic operation of the microprocessor or microcontroller, right? Microprocessor or microcontroller, right? These are all the basic operations. So these basic operations, that is any arithmetic operation, that is the ALU is available here, right? That is the ALU, that is ALU here. That is the device which is going to be, this is mu P or mu C microprocessor or microcontroller. So we are going to be that is the input out to the system, input. Again we are going to given as the that is we are give that processing a data. So if you are going to do any operation, that is add or that is addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So that is all these operations we are going to do in the ALU, that is arithmetic logic unit. So the A register is a main register. A register, that is A register is main register. We are going to the multiply the base processors, base processor. We are going to use the A register for this addition, subtraction, and division, multiplication. This is one requirement. So that is the mathematical, mathematical. So the second thing is, that is IO, data transfer, IO data transfer. So that is the thing. So what is we are going to see, if you are going to give the data in old processor, that is old processor, that is the input data, again it may go into that A register, again it may go into memory. So this is the process of reading. This is the process of reading for the that is the microprocessor. At the same time, if you are going to do the some other process, this a register, we are unable to transfer the data without ALU, that is a register, to the memory. So this is not possible for, that is 80 and 85, that is older process. But nowadays that is so much updated versions which is available. This is, I am talk about the old processes. So what we are going to do it, I want to transfer the data, from that input unit. So the transferring the data, this is that the memory, this is that the memory, this is the internal memory. Next, assume this is memory as external. So the flow of data is, it may come, and the ALU are here, that is ALU to here. So this is that operation. So during the execution of the some other programs, we are waiting to that is the data transfer from the input unit to memory, or memory to output unit. If you want a data transfer to output, then as like this. So through the ALU. So the concept is, that is ALU plays a role for the data transfer. So to avoid this the utilization, or the effective utilization of the ALU, or parallel utilization of that the ALU, we are going to plan as like this. So what is this? This is ALU. Again, that is I am also going to put some memory. Again, I have put one device. So this device is DMA, direct memory access. Okay, so I want to transfer the data. To, that is here, from IO to, this is memory. I am also going to instruct through this device, that is DMA, direct memory address. I am also going to the ALU, which can be give the starting address of this memory. This is the memory that is which is available straight way, it is available. So these are all the address. This is memory content. So that is the DMA which can be going to tell. So you may going to take the control of your data transfer from the input unit to memory. So here there is no path, there is no flow in the ALU to, that is the thing of the memory. Directly input devices to memory, the data is transferred. This transferring action will be controlled, controlled by this transferring action, which can be controlled by the device. That is, the device is called that is DMA, direct memory accessing process. Okay, so this is the process. So before starting this, so whenever the input request is coming from, next the operation of the DMA, the input, the step 1, the input request for data transfer, input request required from the data transfer. Again, it may going to get the request to the ALU. Okay, it may give the permission to data transfer, that is hold the signal and hold acknowledgement. That is the two things, that is the data transfer operations are the handshaking, proper handshaking, that is handshaking, and the ALU give the address, that is the address is called the starting address to the DMA, starting address to the DMA. Again, the DMA which can be received, get the permission from the ALU, and starting address it can be collect the data from the input to memory directly. The entire process controlled by the this chip, which is called the DMA, direct memory access. Once again, I am going to repeat the entire process. Okay, please, that is exactly again you can focus. So this is the ALU which is available, right? So this is ALU, right? ALU having a some the program, that is the executing the program, executing some program, executing some program. Okay, so during that time we want to transfer data from IO, that is input port or IO port, that is whatever it is, port to, that is memory. So we want to actually we are waiting up to completion of this program, that is completion of this program only we are going to data transfer. To avoid this time lag, that is we are going to be introduce the concept of the DMA, direct memory access. That is the DMA, direct memory access. So what is the function of the DMA function? It can be, that is IO, to directly data transfer to memory. So that is here the DMA which is available. Okay, so again that the chip which is called the DMA, this is that DMA which is available here, DMA, direct memory access. So whenever this is that the processor, we are going to request, it may going to request for the data transfer. So after getting that request, it may be going to give that that is one is bus, that is address and data bus, and this is control operation. It may going to request this ALU. So ALU will also going to give the that is immediately stop on his program, and then it may give the address to the DMA, address to the DMA. Again, that is what address it may giving, the memory location starting address, Again, after receiving that the starting address, the ALU continue to execute the older program, that is older program. Again, DMA, without knowledge of the ALU, it can be transfer the data from, that is IO port to, that is the memory. So that is the memory, right? So this is the another way of data transfer. How we are going to get this? This is the memory. Just wait. So that is we are going to be transfer the data to this memory, right? So based on that address, this entire process is called the DMA access process. Now that is description wise we are going to see. So for that purpose, the effective utilization by using this technology, that is which can be improve the effective usage of ALU will be increased. Effective usage of the ALU will be increased. Okay, so this is the IO devices need to data transfer from the system to memory. So how we are going to be transferred, that is in the different way, which means without fetching or without disturbing the A register ALU of the main processor. Again, we are going to take the data transfer from IO device to memory, right? So this is the point we are going to be consider. So this is a system which maybe also need to data transfer in the IO devices. A bulk of data is transferred between the two systems without that is CPU intervening, which means the CPU work which not be disturbed. Okay, so except at the starting, at the ending. So why it can be starting and ending at the time of starting? At the time of starting, first you can get the permission and starting address. So at the end, that is the completion report completion report will be sent. Then what is how much of the data which is transferred, that is the end address, that is end address of a data. So this information which is going to be the ALU. So this is the process which is called as the direct memory access, that is the DMA, right? So now we are going to see. So this is the CPU, central processing unit. This is the DMA controller. So this is the memory and then device. So I want to data transfer. First, what is this color? This color, right? So this is old method. That is old old method. So if you want to data transfer from device, so this data which can be flow into the CPU. Again, it may be returned back and then stored in memory by using DMA. So what is the way we are going to be implemented? So that is the way how it can be implemented. So that is the data is directly data is directly from that here and then store the memory. Okay, so that is the point. So please see here, that is the point. So here, that is the main point. What is the main point? The CPU is disturbed here, that is the CPU time execution time is disturbed. But here that is the CPU time is not disturbed. So please see, that is it may be going as like this. Okay, again here there is no disturbance of the CPU, or that is it's not disturbing the CPU. At the same time, if the device is want to transfer a data from device to memory, the device which may be going to ask, that is that the ask to that the bus request to the CPU, the CPU will also going to give that the request, the DMA which can be send the request to CPU. The CPU will also give the grant. Again, once again repeated, the device wants to data transfer from the device to memory. So during that time, first we can send the request through the DMA to the CPU, right? Again, that the CPU give that the permission. After getting the permission, the data is directly transferred from the device to memory. So this is the thing. So not only for this, So during that, after getting the permission, the bus will be released, and also it may send the address also. Depends upon the vendor to vendor, that operation is different. So this is the clock. If it is read or write, if you are outside data, that is the read. Inside we are going to write, then write. So address, data, then number of data, that is the data is ready. Again, that is number of data. This is the n-bit systems. So these informations we are going to be used for the that is memory data transfer. So this is nothing but the handshaking operation. This is nothing but the handshaking operations. So this is the entire operation of the DMA, right? Okay. So next we are going to see the today's class. What is that? Next we are going to see the memory management. Okay, what topic we are going to be see? That is memory management. Memory. So that is uniprogramming, that is multi-programming, contiguous, non-contiguous. First we are going to be see what is mean by the memory management. What is the primary memory? What is the secondary memory? See, during that the time of this operation, primary memory, what is mean by the primary? So how to selection of that memory, that is the primary memory and the secondary memory. These how the primary memory, cache and the storage, different types of memory already we have seen. So how we are going to select the memory, everything. This is how we are going to manage the memory. So as per the requirement, we are assume that is we need that is how much RAM, that is 1 GB, 1 GB, or that is the 4 GB RAM is required. 4 GB RAM is required. Now we are going to be manage this RAM. How we are going to be managed? So the memory management technique, first we have broadly classified into that. That is uniprogramming. Next one is multi-programming. So the memory which can be used for that that is the specific one programming or multi-programming. It is a contiguous memory allocation or non-contiguous. We will see what is mean by the contiguous, what is mean by the non-contiguous. So again further divided into single that is parity header allocation, page based memory, segment memory. We are going to see one by one, right? So that is memory management. So what is mean by the contiguous and non-contiguous memory management method? So that is a very important thing. Okay, so that is in the memory management system. What is the work of the memory management system? That is the thing we are going to be consider. So what part of the memory is used? Suppose if you have the memory that is assume that is 4 GB RAM, 4 GB RAM. This memory can be splitted as like this splitter. So what part of the memory we are going to be used? Assume 1, 2, that is 3 and 4. So as like a n number of system, at least n number of pages. So what part of the memory we are going to be used? That is internal memory or external memory. If it is internal, that is a specific point. Next, allocate the memory to the process when it is needed. Allocate the memory. So this memory allocation is completely different. It is completely different. Sir, how it can be completely different? We will see in through that the whiteboard operations. So that is very important thing for that memory allocations, right? So this is first of all I am going to export image embedded unit 1 array embedded, that is 1. Okay, then save. So this is clear canvas. Okay, so that is allocation of the memory. Suppose if your system has a first thing is a single board, embedded board, BOARD, embedded board, which can be used for the single single applications. Then you have the, that is the different that is memory allocations. Suppose that is I am also going to do, that is some motor control. So that is voltage, current, and the temperature will also going to taken. So I am also going to allocate for that. One is voltage, the set of memory, that is the current, that is one is that the temperature data. So instantaneously, that is each and every process. I am also assume that the multi-threading. This is one thread, T1, that is thread 2, or this is thread 3. So this is the single process, but thread 1 to the entire process is a Entire process is a single process, one process. So this is some type of memory allocation. At the same time, it is multi-programming. It is multi-programming. Please see the slide. That is uni-programming or multi-programming. Multi-programming, which means suppose your mobile nowadays, which can be some type of OS, which is the Android OS version. So the OS based memory allocation is completely differ, but you can that is assume, that is the, if it is any ATM machine, please assume ATM machine, MACHIN, that is ATM machine. Okay, this is nowadays having a RTOS will be run, that is RTOS, real time operating system, which may be run, that is we are allocate the different process. Assume it may run in the process 1, that is process 2, and the process 3. This is which can be the user interface process. This is which can be run the communications process, which can be handling the cache process. So the three process is there. So we are going to allocate the memory for this process. How we have the same 1 GB RAM. So please see the diagram carefully. So I am also going to allot the memory for that. That is the process 1, that is the process 2, that is process 3. Suppose I am also going to use the process 1 for the memory 0 to up to n, 0 to n, or something, or 100k assume. I am also going to allocate this memory. The process is over, or the remaining process, the process is started. P1 is started at time of 1, and P1 which can be end at the time of 10. Again, you can allocate the memory at the end of 10 milliseconds, or time t1 to at a t1 to at t10. I am going to that is the this memory allocation which can be cancelled and then merged, or it can be the free space, as a free space. Please once again keep it in your mind. So suppose the ATM machine, I have the three process, one process, that is second and third. So first process is user interface, second process that is communication, third process is the cache. So each process we are going to allocate the memory. So how much memory will be allocated? How we are going to be allocated? So that is the different methods which is available: contiguous and non-contiguous. Contiguous means this is the page based, that is the page based allocations from that is the bulk of data from 1001H to 1007H. So that is contiguous memory allocation. But non-contiguous memory allocation, I have that memory space for P1, I have the 10K, and P2 I am also having a 25K, and P3 I have that 25K. So 25 plus 25, that is 50, again that is 65K. These 65K I am also going to allocate some process, that is the P4 process. P4 process. So this is the, we are going to be split the memory. What that is the free space is available already allotment segment. Again we are going to be allocate this the process of 4. So that is called, that is the non-contiguous memory. So contiguous memory and a non-contiguous memory. So single allocation, this is again, that is the contiguous memory, that is we will see one by one. That is very important thing. So manage the memory management, that is contiguous. This is contiguous memory. Another one is non-contiguous. Fixed position scheme. Fixed position. The address space. What is this? Address space. Address space is fixed. So this is a variable partition or addresses. So please assume this is the 125 MB, 75 MB, 125 MB, 75. So depends upon the process. This 75 or this 125 is maybe changed, but page by page it may be allocated. At the same time, if that is the unusable space which is available here, that is the unusable space is available, this unusable space which can be allocated for the process 4, that is the process 4, whatever we are seeing here, that is the process 4. These process 4 which may be going to allocated. So this is called the that is contiguous memory allocations. This is called the non-contiguous memory allocation. First you can keep it in your mind. What is mean by contiguous? It can be regularly, it can allocate the memory for the process. At the same time, if you are going to allocate the process, the unused space which is available, the process is not utilize the memory allotted for his usage. That collection of memory, it can be collected and allotted for the another process, is called the non-contiguous memory, right? The this is the, so this is the two types, one a fixed and another one is variable schemes. These may be fixed, means that is 125, 75, 125, it may be fixed. It is variable, means it depends upon the process requirement. This slot can be, the slot fixation will be in change. So that is variable one. So non-contiguous, that is the paging page. Suppose assume this is page 1, this is page 2 and 3. As like we have going to be allocate the memory. Next multi-paging. If the work is, if the memory is as like very long, that is a very long position, again we are going to allocate the different pages. So these pages we can be utilized by the multi-level paging. Next one is interleaved paging, which means that is if the paging, that is unused space which can be utilized from random operations. So that is next one is the that is the segmentation. Segmentation, how the segmentations. Suppose if it is the whole is created, you will see on later, right? We'll see on later. So the word is the allocation of the memory. It is big, very big work. That is very big work. If you are a memory management program, MMU, memory management program is very good. Very low memory is required. If your management program is not in a proper way, you need the so much. So if you need that 1 GB RAM, 1 GB RAM, a proper memory management unit, again you may use that the 256 MB, 256 MB RAM. So due to proper memory management. Next, deallocation when the process are done. If the process is over, you can allot the memory for process 1, process 2, process 3 up to process n. If the 2 and 3 is over, again this space is as like are announced as a free space. Is a free space. That is very important. Next one is swapping or paging between the memory and the disk. Swapping. That is a swapping. Suppose if you are having a data which is available here, again that is the P4 process or P3 process we have available. It can be the 100 MB RAM. This is a 100 MB RAM. We are replacing only, this is 80, this is for 70. So we are going to transfer here and then free the space. So that is the swapping, and then get the free of the space. Next one is in general memory management responsibilities. So what are the responsibility of the memory management? These are all that the responsibility. Managing that is the mapping between the local memory and task memory reference. That is what we are going to be. So mapping means, what is this mapping? So mapping means, so this is the memory which is available here. That is the memory which is available. So I am going to subdivide it. So subdivide. Okay. So here properly I am going to subdivide. I am also going to put that the columns, that is 1, 2, 3 up to what is it is that is m number which is available, 1, 2, 3, so many things. So what is this? I am also going to be ensuring allocating and deallocating. That is here, that is the mapping. So we are going to arrange what is this starting address. That is 01. That is the ending address is assumed, that is 100, right? So this is mapping. We are going to arrange. This is the page number 1. Assume that is the page number 1. Page number 1, that is 101 to 100. We are going to be allotted for this process for the local memory. And the disk memory as a, that is the task reference. So we have the different process or different tasks. Okay. Next, determining which process to load the available memory space. Determining which process to load the available memory space. So we have the that is the different process is there. So I am also going to which process. What is the current execution? Current, CURRNT, current process, which means the process which can be executed in CPU or in ALU. So which process opcode is loaded into the program counter, that process value or the memory allocations will be loaded. So that is here, that is a very important thing we are going to be consider. So that is determining which process the CPU uh, running, the running process. So that is a process which can be running in the CPU. We are giving the first preference and load the available memory space for the which space. Okay. Next, allocating and deallocating. Already I am also told to you what is meant by the allocating and deallocating memory space to make up the system. Next, tracking the memory usage of the components. Here I am allocating the memory from 0 to that is 0 1 to 0 1 to 1 0 0, but it can be used for only the 30 up to 30 remain, that is the 70% of the memory is remaining available. So I am also going to collect the memory. I am also going to collect these memories to form the non-contiguous memory page, as a memory page we are going to create. So that is allocating and deallocating. Allocating first, next deallocating. So the memory deallocation, if the process is over, again the memory allocation is removed. Memory allocation is removed. So this effect we are going to be see. Please wait. It will take some time. That is wait. Mm. This is the task manager. Okay, that is the task manager which is available. That is 7.1 GB RAM, which can be utilized at 8 GB of RAM. The 7.8 is usage, but now I am going to close some other applications, if it is possible. That is, I am also going to close some other applications. So this is that the DMA access. So what type of application if it is need, that is I am also going to close any one applications. Please wait. So that is the process memory. Google will also going to use, that is 360 to 350 percent, that is MB of the RAM. So now I am also going to that the Google. So simply I am also close these browsers, right? So these browsers I am also going to be closed. So maximum browser I have closed. Now I am going to that the in my task manager, right? So that is it can be that is what is the usage. Based on that the usage and the purpose, the memory process will be reduced. Now the memory will be in the 6.1 7.1 to it can be reduced in the 6.4. The memory usage is in the 6.4, it can be further reduced, right? So depends upon that usage, the memory level which can be reduced. Again, please wait. So that is the point whichever I am going to cover. That this is that the image, please see. That is the what is the usage, that is the memory 7.1, and application history. If the process, the memory usage which is available, PowerPoint and images, photos it is 206 which can be allotted. But now I am going to close these two images. Okay, so then we are going to see the task manager, that is photos. It can be reduced, the photos which can be reduced. So that is the 0 MB. So if the allocations we have going to be change the usage by usage, that is the usage by usage. Please see what is this. That is the Microsoft Word. Microsoft Word is 0% CPU usage, 4.4 MB memory is used. Now I am going to Word. Now I am going to, otherwise I am also going to take a screenshot. I am also going to take a screenshot. That is Microsoft Word, that is 9 MB, 0.3%. I am going to take a screenshot. So right, so please use this. So next I am also going to close some other word. So here I am also going to close this word. Yes. Next I am also going to close this word. So this word will be closed. Okay. So now I am going to see, that is the word is used. So during that, if the word is not used, the memory usage is low. Now I am closing my two word document, but it can be used. The value is 136, that is 132 MB, which can be used in the earlier, because there is no CPU usage. But it can be when I am going to use the word. Till now I am not used the word. Now I am going to use the word. So the memory allocation to that is 134 MB. So similarly, Microsoft Whiteboard, Microsoft, that is a PowerPoint, Task Manager, Windows Explorer. So which is the different applications, different memory which is going to be used. See, please see, that is the whiteboard is 1.2 MB. Now I am going to fetch the whiteboard, right? So now I am going to fetch the whiteboard. So please see, so the whiteboard operations and other operations, I am going to use the whiteboard. So what is the whiteboard? Microsoft Word and the whiteboard operations. The whiteboard MB is, that is 186. It may be increased, right? And the CPU will be increased as like this. So whenever I am going to use the memory allocation, this is the memory allocation and the deallocation of the memory, which can be done by the process, memory process. So this is the thing we are going to be see the memory management system. Next one is track the memory usage from the component. If you are going to allotment the memory for the specific process, how much memory we are utilized, that is the process is utilized. That is the thing we are going to be consider. Ensuring the process memory is a protection. If it is protectable or not. If it is the protectable or not, we are going to take an as a that is the decision based systems. Okay, so this is the another way we are going to be consider. We are going to be consider, right? So this is that the another way we are going to be consider for that the system. Okay, so up to this we are covering that the portion for the memory allotment and how the memory will be allocated for the different process and contiguous, that is this is the thing for contiguous and non-contiguous, how the memory will be managed, everything we have be seen on today class, right? If you have any doubt, you may please ask. Now I am going to stop my recording. Okay.